Okay, welcome back. Fire Force Season 2, Episode 2. I didn't do an episode, or I didn't do a recap for Episode 1 because I had a lot of stuff going on with the podcast. And the podcast is called Anime Savants, and we'll get into that later, but you're here to listen to me talk about Fire Force. So first and foremost, the nigga is here. Also, I do have this in my hand again because the other day I recorded a whole bunch of videos with this in my hand, and all the videos were just like impossible to edit. I had to encode all of them for fucking hours and didn't work. So I'm gonna put this down now. This is fucking bad luck. I'm gonna use this. This is gonna be the handy dandy thing, and I can So anyways, the nigga's here. Ogun's here. I kind of was expecting a deeper voice, but maybe it'll happen when we get further along in the plot, and he gets serious and he's fighting, and etc. etc. But listen, always gonna be happy for blackness in anime, especially with the hair done right and looking stylish and good. We had it in Soul Eater, and he's giving it to us now. And I kind of regret not reading the manga now, because I'm just like, damn, I would have known about this character. I would have been standing on years on years. And I'm a little bit late. I'm here with everybody else. But, that's one of the downsides of being an anime original. But whatever, I'll take it. So now, he's at the thing. We're meeting old people, of course. People are being assholes to Shinra, or not assholes, but the stigma behind his mother is a regular thing again. And this homegirl just shows up. And at first I was like, why does that look like Sister Girl? That looks like Sister Girl. What's going on? And then he's like, that looks like Sister. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm not stupid. 'Cause for a second there, I thought I had to go back and rewatch a little bit of season 1 because I was like, I'm missing something. Something's off. So he's there. He's at the fort. He's there to meet the captain, Hage. This kind of was, it wasn't weird for me, but I kind of was just like, oh, you're a fire masochist. Okay. And then they played upon that in the rest of the episode with comedic elements, especially with the fighting. And I'm gonna get to the fighting later because this shit, I really enjoyed it for this episode. More so than the group action from last episode. But I'll get there in just a moment. So they're going into more detail about the Adola Links, the Adola Bursts, and why was Hage there last season when he was in the realm? I don't know what they call it, but yeah, he was there, and it was kind of ugh. I feel like I shouldn't even go into that because I already know that there is a huger plot with that, and they're going to explain that. But right now, I'm just not really I feel like it's not important for this episode. I just think they were refreshing some of the terms, and we got it, and now they're moving on. I did pick up that. So if someone who does not have an Adola burst, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you do not have an Adola burst and you do an Adola link, then there's some kind of physical price, or that's what I got from it with the captain, because the captain apparently lost his eye, and captain from the first squad, and then the fourth squad, he got the scars, but it looks like they were just simply injured when they went to that realm, as opposed to actually having to lose a body part or something, similar to Full Metal Alchemist. That kind of threw me off for a second. Maybe I just need to rewatch the episode another time, but I was kind of just huh, okay. But also maybe they want that to remain a little bit cloudy and unclear because they're going to explain it further later on, which they probably will. But I'm moving on from that scene because that really wasn't even the main thing. The main thing that really caught my eye was, of course, David production and this fucking animation. The evil Shinra, or what I thought were the dark flames, and there's a whole other entity things going on here, flames have a different side, etc, etc. No, it's the first pillar fucking with Shinra. So apparently I'm assuming that she can possess the way that they did the jagged edges, and the lines are super duper not defined, but they were really thick lines with slight holes in them, very similar to, and I'm not gonna pitch that right now, I'm gonna do that at the end of the episode. That it really drove home no, this is not the same, this is different, something's going on. And it immediately caught my attention. I was like, oh, this is like really jagged, and it's very similar to the way that they animate the last screen cap in the opening, where homeboy is like holding the book, and then you have like the eye guy and some of the other new characters with Shinra along with it. So it's kind of just like, is this a stylistic choice that is going to characterize specific people in the plot now, or was this just was this them testing the waters to be like, hey, should we try this animation style out? Does that work better for the combat? And hopefully it doesn't go anywhere, because I really, really enjoyed it the entire time. One thing I was not expecting to get from this episode was Arthur backstory. And I feel bad, because at first we got backstory for Maki. We got backstory for, I guess we kind of got backstory for Tamaki. We got backstory for the lieutenant. We got backstory for the captain of the 8th. But like Arthur kind of was just like, his rival, his friend from school that was just there and just also happened to be powerful. But now this is making me think that Arthur's family, especially his family, has a bigger role to play. Just the whole like disappearing act and all that, I was like, no, something's not right with this. Either they're with the evangelist and like they are watching over him and they're probably like waiting for him to do something, and then they're gonna be like, hey, you're our son, come over here to the cult, and that's gonna be like a huge plot point for him. Or they probably were just actually delusional pieces of shit that abandoned their child. Who knows? Once again, this show is very good at just, how do I put it? Like approaching different things in a very good fashion. So the whole RPG party thing, I loved it. Because RPGs are my favorite genre, period, in the story. But the fact that Ogun and Arthur came in to try to stop Shinra, and then Shinra basically was outclassing the shit out of them, and then when they decided to form the RPG party, like Arthur's skill level just like shot through the fucking roof because of the delusions, and the more that he is like, in the fancy and deluded, the stronger he is, which there must be a reason for that, and I don't know exactly what it is yet, but of course they're probably going to explain that to us in the future. I wish I had gotten more of Ogun's power. I don't know if the spears were Ogun's power or not, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see, because he's clearly going to be fighting with them in the future. But another thing I liked was Pan or Whistle Dude. We're seeing support fire abilities, and we saw it last season with the captain who healed Shinra, but now we're seeing it like in action and different ways that he can support people. So like he can do it defensively, and then he can also buff their muscles. And I'm pretty sure I keep saying they're pretty sure, but they're most likely going to go into details on like how the actual heat affects like the buffs. Like it must be at like some kind of molecular level, because the whole thing would show, like he's speeding his cells up. So I feel like it's gonna have to get way more scientific whenever they introduce new powers now, jagged edges and the lines, and just the overall combat choreography. Like it was good this episode. I didn't expect to get that much. It's know more about the first pillar, and then we're also getting to know more about Arthur and the captain of the 4th. With all that said, the captain of the 4th, I mean, I'm interested in his backstory, but also I want to know the reasons why he went to that realm. And it also seems like Shinra's mom's demon was the one that gave him those scars. Why is he obsessed with the Adola link now, or like the Adola bursts? Because I'm getting that like he wants to go back to that realm, and he already said he doesn't care if it's heaven or hell. He just wants to go back there because it's otherworldly and Adola is above. So I'm getting hints that he might not be part of the evangelist's party yet, but he might get there, and he might get there at a really bad moment, especially with the revelation from the end of the episode, which is a new Adola burst is about to come into existence. Now, this interested me because I was like, this was in the trailers, but as I thought about it, I was like, well, does this mean that a new like child is going to be born with this power, or does it mean that someone else's powers are going to manifest and they will just so happen to be an Adola burst, like they'll be able to Adola link, etc., etc. That's one of the things that I'm not very clear about. What I did really like about the episode, though, was the pacing. I thought the pacing was much better. I thought the way that the exposition was presented was way better than the first season. The first season, I think, suffered from a lot of like lulls and kind of just like, with scenery in the background and like a lot of quietness, and that did what it needed to do. But I think this one kind of just like, it had those moments, but it definitely just like kept it moving. I felt engaged the entire time, even when there wasn't any action, which is good. Like, I would like this. I'd like this pacing to continue. Also, I really, really enjoyed, like, I really like the focus on the eyes, especially when, you know, like Shinra and the first pillar, like when she's leaving, and the shadows. I think the shadows in the show do a really good job of, like, how do I put it? Showcasing like a person's intent or mood, and just like, you know, giving it really helps the aesthetic for, you know, comedy, foreboding, mystery, like all of it works really well, and it stands out. At least it stands out to me. But then when you think about it, it's fire is everywhere. Fire, light, you know, light, it's everywhere. Like the shadows are going to be exposed, like people are going to get stuff here, it's going to be over here, this, etc, etc. So that was just another thing that I noticed from this episode. I mean, that's pretty much all. I will be thinking about it some more, and then I will be talking about it some more in Anime Savants, which is the new podcast that I'm doing with, I don't know if he wants me to say his name, so I'm not going to say his name, but it's a new podcast, and you can learn his name if you go listen to the podcast. It's on Anchor, Anime Savants. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. You will know us by the bomb-ass logo. Like, you will not be able to see our logo and be like, oh, I missed it. It didn't stand out. No, our logo stands out. It's really fucking nice. And we're going with the color palette of red and black right now, so that will also be good. So we've already done 2 episodes. They're already up on Spotify. You can go to Anchor if you want to see other platforms that you can listen to it on. I know it's on like Pocket Casts, and I think it just got approved for Podbean too. But Spotify, you know, not everyone, but Spotify is extremely accessible, so it is definitely on Spotify, and I will put that link down below along with our social media connects for Anime Savants. And episode 3 will be coming up. And I think so far, what have we covered? We've covered Brand New Animal. We've covered Tower of God. We covered some of the 2020 anime that we're looking forward to, which we're now in the middle of. And then we also covered Cannon Busters and Gleipnir. So if you've seen any of those, if you haven't seen any of those, go watch them and then come through to the podcast and listen. Go listen to the podcast. Also, there will be a YouTube for the podcast coming up soon where it will just be the podcast episode, but it will be, you know, just like, you know, different picks, different things going on, because sometimes, hey, you know, maybe you just want to like listen to it in the background on some big ass speakers on your computer while you're doing something else, and you don't want to have the headphones in, but you don't want to go to Spotify because you don't have an account. And anyways, thanks for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me see if I can do this right. Like, comment, and subscribe. It should be like that. If it's not like that, then I'll fix it later. I ain't gonna fix that shit. And yeah, more videos are coming out of this. The God of High School video should have been out ages ago, but my recording software, I recorded it like 3 times, and it fucked it up every single time. So I think this will work. If this video gets out, then the God of High School video will be coming out before the second episode comes out, because holy shit, that was so good. God damn. Anyways, later.